He set his cake on his nightstand and pulled out his camp necklace from his pocket. There were 3 beads now, representing his 3 summers at camp: a trident, the golden fleece, and the latest one of the Labyrinth. He wondered what next year's bead would be, if he lived long enough to get it, and if the camp survived until next summer. He looked at the landline on the dresser, and thought about calling Rachel. His mom had asked him if there was anyone else he wanted to have over tonight, and he thought about Rachel, but he didn't call. He had no idea why that made him almost as nervous as a door to the Labyrinth. Then he looked at the pictures of his friends on his desk. He knew Grover couldn't come because he was too busy helping the nature spirits. He wanted to take his chances and see if Annabeth would come. But he knew she had to help take care of Kyron, who was still injured, and the camp was all the way on the other end of Long Island. With his luck, she was probably already on the plane that would take her home to San Francisco. Then Percy remembered something else was in his pocket. Despite all the times he had changed pants for the past 2 months, Percy had kept Calypso's moonlace seed in his pocket to remind himself to plant it when he got the chance. 2 months in a pocket, and so many life-threatening situations to deal with, and the seed was surprisingly still safe? He looked out the window, in the direction of the ocean, and he remembered Calypso's last request. "Plant a garden in Manhattan for me, won't you?" Luckily, there was a full moon out, and he remembered her telling him how it could only be planted at night. He stepped out onto the fire escape and stuck the seed into his mom's planter box. He didn't have any water on him, so he took his chances with a bit of nectar from his camp canteen. He thought it would be a while before it started growing, but then a full-grown moonlace flower magically popped out right before his eyes. "Just as I promised you, Calypso," he said to the horizon. "Nice plant," Nico said. He sat on the steps as if he just appeared out of thin air. "Sorry," he said. "I didn't mean to startle you." That's okay," Percy said. "I mean, what are you doing here?" "I've done some exploring," he said. "I thought you might like to know. Daedalus got his punishment." "You saw him?" "Yes," said Nico. "My father had some ideas that will punish him and make modifications to the underworld at the same time. Daedalus will be building overpasses and exit ramps in the fields of Asphodel for all time. It'll help ease the traffic congestion. Truthfully, I think the old man's pretty happy with his new job. He's still building, still creating things, and he gets to see his son Icarus on the weekend." "That's great," said Percy. "But that's not the real reason I've come," Nico said. "I found out some things. I want to make you an offer, a way to help you survive fighting Luke. If I'm right, it's the only way you'll ever stand a chance." Percy took a deep breath. "Okay, I'm listening." Then Nico just seemed to notice the piece of cake through the window. "Is that blue birthday cake?" he asked, sounding hungry. Percy wondered if Nico ever had birthday cake, or an actual birthday party in his life. "Why don't you come inside and have some?" Percy offered. Sure, I guess." "Sounds like we've got a lot to talk about."
"Icarus! Icarus! Father? Icarus! Father! Father!" "You and I have some catching up to do, my son." "Hang in there, my lord. The ship's right there. Hang on. Did I go give the orders to sail for Manhattan, my lord?